Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. I hope you've had a good week, and I hope that you're going to have a lovely, lovely weekend. Thank you for joining us for Medical Qigong. My name is Mary Frances, and I am one of Ying Junhua's students. So let's go ahead and start out with our warm-ups today. We're going to open up about hip width, shoulder width apart. And settle into the space. Allowing the tip of the tongue to reach up and touch the roof of the mouth, either behind the teeth, the upper teeth, or back further upon the palate. It's up to you. We're breathing in and out through the nose. And we're just allowing ourselves to come into the space, come into the moment. Allowing our minds to have permission to let go of any of the things that we have to do during the day. Any of the thoughts that may come percolating up. We're going to give ourselves this time a moment to rest our minds, rest our brains, and just focus in on the breath and the present moment. We're going to allow our hands to come into loose fists and start swaying from side to side. Relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the elbows. The fists are nice and loose. And if this is the first real movement you're doing today, maybe you want to go gently. We never want to put ourselves into pain. We want the qi and the blood to move freely, which means working with our body instead of against it. As we're swinging from side to side, maybe getting a little more momentum and allowing the lead arm to travel up the body. To the very top of the opposing shoulder. And then we're gradually letting that lead arm come back down the bottom. Gradually letting everything come back to the center. And then continuing on, widening our stance just a little bit, tapping the inner thigh and then up at the hip. We're now opening up the channels in the lower half of the body. Letting the momentum do the majority of the work. Before then continuing on, working our way down the inner aspect of the legs towards just above the ankles. Coming to the lateral aspect of the legs, working our way back on up towards the hips and the glutes, sliding that left foot a little closer to the right, maintaining that hip width, shoulder width distance. And then continuing on up to the low back, just underneath the rib cage. Waking up those kidneys, waking up the kidney energy. Before then placing the palms at the low back, circling down the sides and up the spine. Starting to gather the energy into the low back. warming up the kidneys. And letting the palms rest at the low back. Closing the eyes. Continuing to inhale and exhale through the nose. As we inhale, drawing the breath through the nose, down the throat, into the torso, down into the abdomen, and then greeting the low back. Exhaling, allowing the chi to flow to wherever it's needed within the body. Inhaling, guiding the breath in chi through the nose, down into the kidneys, reaching the palms, allowing the low back to inflate just a little bit. And exhaling, allowing that energy to travel to wherever it's needed within the body. Inhaling and exhaling at your own pace. Allowing the breath to enter and leave the body easily and freely. Allowing the chi to come to that lower back kidney area and then move to where it's needed within the body. When you're ready, gently opening the eyes, letting the arms come back down to the sides, and closing, bringing the left foot back to the right. When you're working on your own, you can make that exercise, the warm-up exercises, the tapping exercises, last for much, much longer, really enjoying the reverberations and vibrations throughout the body. But we are going to move on to the Golden 8, working on 1 through 6, and then after the main class, working on the 7th exercise. So to begin, we're opening up, settling into this space. Our first exercise, reach for happiness for the lung and large intestine. We're inhaling and exhaling. In and out. Inhaling and exhaling. In and out. Now you can start working with your own breath cycle, allowing your breath and the movements to coordinate. Moving as quickly or as slowly as you need to allow for full breaths without feeling like you're losing air. Allowing yourself to relax into the exercise. Enjoying the breath and enjoying the movement. And when you're ready, closing. Opening for our second exercise for the heart and small intestine, the Archer exercise. Inhaling and exhaling. In and out. Inhaling and exhaling as you continue on at your own pace. Allowing each movement to flow into the next. Getting ready to close. And closing, bringing that left foot back to the right. Getting ready for our third exercise between heaven and earth for our spleen and stomach. Settling into the space. Inhaling. Exhaling. In. And out. Inhaling. And exhaling. Inhaling. And exhaling. Inhaling. And exhaling. In. And out. Once again, continuing on at your own pace, working with your own breath. And if the mind starts traveling off, gently guiding it back to the exercise and to the breath. Getting ready to close. And closing, left foot to right. Getting ready to open up for our Sanjiao exercise. Turn and look back. Inhaling and exhaling. In and out. Inhaling and exhaling. Continuing on at your own pace. Allowing the mind to stay within the exercise, within the body, within the breath. Utilizing the breath to instigate the movement. And getting ready to close. Releasing the arms. And getting ready for our liver gallbladder exercise. Twist and release. Opening up. Settling into the stance. And then beginning inhaling. And exhaling. In. And out. Working at your own pace. Getting ready to close. And then our sixth exercise for the urinary bladder and kidney, or kidney and urinary bladder, the Bend for Health exercise. Opening up. And inhaling. Full exhalation. Inhaling. And exhaling. In. And out. Inhaling. And exhaling. Inhaling all the way back up to standing. Moving at your own pace. Enjoying this light stretch of the muscles, tendons, sinews. As the muscles and tendons and sinews start to relax, start to open up, the channels also start to open up, so that blood and chi may move more freely, helping to nourish the body. And getting ready to close. Closing. Keeping the feet together, bringing the palms together, transferring some of that wonderful chi to the palms. Placing the palms at the lower dantian, 3 to 4 finger breaths beneath the belly button. Typically men place their left hand first, right hand on top. Women, it's right and then left. I'm not going to mirror you here. We're going to close our eyes and start circling up the right and down the left. We're starting to draw the energy that we've been cultivating over the past half hour to the lower dantian. Circling 9 times, gathering the energy. And then once you've circled 9 times, you're going to circle in the opposite direction, up the left and down the right. Here we're beginning to concentrate the energy. Then resting the palms in the lower dantian, the lower energy center. As we inhale through the nose, drawing the breath and the chi to the lower dantian, allowing it to fill up with energy. And as we exhale, allowing that energy to settle and store so that you may use it throughout the rest of your day. Inhaling, guiding the breath and the chi to the lower dantian, allowing it to fill up. Exhaling, allowing it to settle and store so that you may use it throughout the rest of your day. Taking a few more moments to inhale and exhale at your own pace. Letting the mind relax, the body relax. Thank you, thank you, thank you very, very much for waking up so early on a Saturday morning. If you need to leave, thank you so much for joining us. If you want to stay, you are so welcome to do so. We're going to start working. We're going to start working on the energy punch, which is the 7th exercise. So let's go ahead and open up, hip width, shoulder width apart. We're going to work on the mechanics first. So the first thing I'd like to explain is that if you've had any martial art or fight training, this is not the punch that you would be doing in that case. In more martial arts, you're sharing your energy right with your friend. And in the medical Qigong, we're trying to keep that energy for us. So what we're going to do is bring the arms out, gathering, and then bringing the hands back, the elbows back, and the fists in loose fists by our side. And here are fists, if you've been working on the lung exercise that Henry has a wonderful, wonderful video of on this YouTube channel, with the thumb on the inside. This is a different fist. This fist, the thumb is actually on the outside. But the thumb is on the outside, but the hand is loose. So it's a very loose fist at about the level of the waist. The knees are soft. You don't have to be super bent or not in a stance, a traditional stance, but nice and loose. And we're going to start with the left side. So I'm going to try to mirror you. And you're going to slowly draw the arm forward. The fist, the palm is up, facing up towards the sky. And at the very last inch of your extension, you're going to go ahead and give a little bit of an oomph to the last inch, turning the fist down, the palm down, facing the earth, okay? And then you're going to slowly retract it. Then you're going to work on the right side, slowly extending the fist. The palm is up. At the very last inch before the end of your extension, you're going to tighten the fist and let it pop out a little bit. And then slowly retract it. Okay, and then probably just a quick explanation. At your full extension, you don't want to hyperextend your elbow. That's not going to feel so good. So by full extension, I mean still a slight bend in the arm, a slight bend at the elbow. So working on the left side, slow, 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 and then quick at the very end, and then retracting slowly. One more time with the right before we go into the breathing. Slow, 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 and then tight at the very end. And then once again, slowly retracting. Okay, we're aiming at about the level of the solar plexus, which is just underneath the xiphoid process. And if you press in on it yourself, you'll feel that it's probably not too comfortable. So don't do it very, very hard, but that gives you an idea, a very visceral idea of where you're going to aim. All right, so now we're going to talk about breathing. You're actually going to inhale all the way throughout the extension, including that last inch. And then exhale as you retract. And this is where it's quite different than most martial art punches. Inhaling, inhaling, inhaling. And then even at the very, very end, still inhaling, and then retracting, you get to exhale. Yeah. It's almost like, I think of it as drinking a wonderful, wonderful milkshake, which I don't do very often because lactose and I don't get along. But the milkshake is nice and thick and so, so tasty, and you're bringing it, drawing it up. You're drawing in the air, drawing in the air, drawing in the air, and then that final little wonderful bit before then relaxing. Drawing in the air, still drawing in the air. That last little bit, and then you get to relax. Good. Okay, so let's close. We're going to go over it a few more times. One other little tidbit is that in most of these exercises, we want to have an internal smile. So your face is fairly relaxed. You've got your inner smile of joy going on. For this particular exercise, you do not need to have that inner joy smile. You can be a little more focused, a little more intense. So we're opening up. We're inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, and then exhaling. Inhaling, gathering the air, gathering the energy, and then exhaling. Two more times on each side, inhaling, and exhaling. Inhaling, staying as relaxed as possible until that last inch. And then exhaling, coming back to that relaxation. And closing. We're going to go over just a few more little elements. So the tip of the tongue, as always, is touching the roof of the mouth. This exercise is for the Ren channel, the conception channel, which runs up right the center, the midline of the front of the body. It's paired with the governing vessel or dew channel that runs up the back of the body and the spine. We're going to talk about that channel next Saturday. But for the Ren channel, the conception channel, it runs up right into the chin, the mandibular crease, And as we've talked about, the tip of the tongue touching the roof of the mouth, that helps connect that Rin channel with the Do channel, which ends pretty much here. I'm generalizing a little bit both on the Ren and the Do, but for our purposes, that works out pretty well. So the Do ends about here, the governing channel. The Rin channel, the conception channel, ends about here. The tip of the tongue, someone's asking a question. Yes. Ooh. Okay, let's see. At the yes. So Patty's asking, I think at the end of the punch, the fist clenches, yes, and then releases as soon as we bring it back. Yes, that is absolutely correct. So as we're drawing, at that last inch, everything in the fist tightens as we bring the palm, the fist facing the earth, and then you release it as you bring it back. So let's continue on with those thoughts in mind, opening up, settling into the space. We're going to do the exercise 3 times on each side. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and then exhaling. Inhaling, drawing the breath and the chi in, tightening at the very end. And then exhaling, allowing everything to flow. Working at your own pace. And then releasing and closing. Any other questions on this exercise? I'm going to jump up to the screen to see if I can see. Also, Henry will be at the end and he will better be able to answer any questions too. Okay. So let's go ahead and keep the feet closed, the palms together. And then placing the palms at the lower dantian, closing the eyes. Taking a few moments here to breathe, inhaling and exhaling as we inhale, gathering the chi back to the lower dantian. Exhaling, allowing that chi to settle. Inhaling, guiding the chi to the lower dantian. Exhaling, allowing the body and mind to rest and relax. Thank you, everyone. Happy Saturday. Henry, please answer our questions regarding energy punch and everything else.
Hi, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us on Saturday. So a couple of other things I want to point out with the energy punch that Mary Frances demonstrated for us today. One is, this is the exercise where you don't have to have that slight smile, okay? You actually can have like an intent, like you're staring down your opponent, okay? So you can have that gaze, you can have a little bit of like, a little bit of anger is okay too. And so this exercise is unique in that you don't have to have that happiness in there, that inner smile. And it's that connection with the emotions and the Qigong that's also very important, because we do want to work with some of those emotions. And this exercise not only benefits your physical body, but is also good for letting emotions out. And it's also really good for generating a lot of energy. So when you're doing the punch, if this is your first time, don't worry. Okay, work on the physical form first. But for those of you who may have practiced this for a while, you'll notice that this simple looking exercise actually generates a lot of energy, actually pulls it up and really gets going. A common mistake with this exercise is that you're breathing out when you're punching. So you want to make sure that all the way through the punch, even all the way up to here, it's an inhale. Only after you start to come back do you do the exhale, okay? So this is very different than, say, in martial arts where you're actually exhaling. The reason why is because in Qigong, we're doing self-cultivation. We want to retain this energy that we're generating. We don't want to shoot it out. In martial arts, we're actually shooting it out, so we're damaging the opponent. But we're not trying to do that here. We're trying to just retain that energy. And that's why the difference in breath is very important. Okay, so that's about the punch. We'll be working more on this week. I do want to talk about, while we're talking about emotions, I want to just review and look back on all these different exercises that we've done so far and how they connect with our emotions. So in Chinese medicine, body, mind, and spirit is all one. So we're all just, it's not this separate thing. So emotions is an integral part of who we are. And when we're doing these physical exercises, we're also working on the emotions, okay? So the first exercise, reach for happiness, that one is for the lung and large intestine. And in Chinese medicine, lung and large intestine is related to the emotion of grief and sadness on one hand, loss. On the other hand, it's about compassion. Okay, so yin and yang. So we don't just look at the challenge, but also the gift or the blessing that's part of it. And sometimes even, you know, the loss and the sadness, that's really a normal part of who we are and the human experience. So I don't actually look at that as a negative either. So it's a normal part of who we are and our experience to have sadness, to have grief, to have loss. And in the end, that makes us wiser and stronger, and we learn lessons that way. Okay, so that's the first exercise. Second exercise, okay, just to demonstrate, just so you recall, because some of you may not remember the exact order. Okay, so the second exercise is the archer, right? And this exercise is good for the heart and small intestine, okay? This is a fire exercise, it's a fire element. And so it's related to those heart and small intestine, and that relates to the emotion of joy on one hand, but mania on the other. So unstable emotion, so more tangibly, look at like anxiety, panic, those are more of the heart emotions here. So that's number two. So also the heart has a lot to do with insomnia. So if you have issues with sleeping, okay, you need to take care of your heart, and this is a good exercise to do. Okay, so up to number three. Third exercise is between heaven and earth. Okay, so remember this one where you separate. So it's similar to the first exercise, but then you start to separate and you go up on your tiptoes. And this one is an earth exercise. So for your spleen and stomach. And this has a lot to do with your digestion. And in the emotional realm, this third exercise has to do with worry on one hand, thinking a lot, ruminating, overthinking. And then on the other hand, it's about sympathy, being able to take care of other people. Okay, so that's number three. Number four, twist and release, right? Oh wait, no, it's turn and look back. Sorry. I always get these confused too. Okay. So it's the one where you turn your chest, head, eyes. Okay. And this is what we call the Sanjiao exercise. Sanjiao in Chinese medicine is also a fire element. So there's a lot to do with still that emotion of joy and mania, anxiety, panic. So that's another fire exercise. So you can see, like, we want to do a little extra work with that heart emotion, that spirit. That's what fun is. That's what really do with the fire. Okay, so fifth exercise. Okay. Twist and release. Oh, excuse me, again, twist and release. Okay. And this exercise is for the liver and gallbladder. The emotion associated with liver and gallbladder, anger and passion. Okay, you really can't have one without the other. And that's why it's really important to really own some of these emotions and really have a connection with them. Because if you're cut off from your anger, you're also cut off from your passion. So it's really important, if you want to, start to get things done, connect with both of those emotions. And I like working on the liver a lot because it's really about flow. So it's a lot of our emotions are rooted in this flow. So the liver controls that. And so this exercise really helps with the other ones too. So really work on the anger and the passion in this exercise. And then number 6 is the bend for health exercise, where we bend back, bend forward. Okay, so this is the fast version. You normally don't do it as fast, okay? All right, so this one is a water exercise. Okay, this is the water element. And water element is related to the kidneys and the bladder. Okay, so it makes sense, right? You have to go to the bathroom. That's a good way to remember it. Water element. And the emotion associated with water and the kidneys is fear on one hand and wisdom on the other. So again, it's one of the, all of these, you can't have one without the other. Okay, so all of us experience fear. But through fear, we learn lessons and we get wiser. And so it's important to be able to face your fears and to understand them. And through that, you gain wisdom and you gain strength. So continue to do that as well. Oh, we have a question. How do we connect with the emotions during the exercise? Okay, so for most of these, the beauty of Qigong is that doing these exercises in a physical way allows you to connect and utilize the emotional realm as well. Okay, again, we see with Qigong, body, mind, spirit is together. So we do these movements, it helps you connect with the different organs and therefore connect with the different emotions. Okay, but first level, if you guys are just starting out, we're working on the physical realm first. You want to get the physical exercise, the movement, the sinking of the breath, and the relaxation of the mind. And over time, as you get very familiar with these exercises, okay, then the emotions, the spiritual aspect, they come into play organically. So you don't have to force anything right now, okay? Because this is also meditation, remember that. It's not just the physical movements that you're doing, you're connecting automatically as you're practicing, okay? All right, so that, oh, yes. And then the last exercise we did, the energy plants. Okay, so you do connect with that liver, that little bit of anger, that focus, and that's why we use the eyes, very important to focus on a point, because the liver goes to the eyes. Okay, so really connecting that. As you're punching, feeling that emotion. So this is a unique one in this whole series.